So another one of our updates with Paul Doswell. Paul, we were back in action on the green grass on Saturday. I suppose it must have been nice after so long to actually manage a game, even if it was a friendly game.
Yeah, and it was a very very competitive game. Certainly for the first hour, which is when both teams played their first team. Really positive. I thought our lads looked very fit, and as I said, against a very very good side, we showed up well. So Younger, again, another great finish from him. So I was pleased with that. But just the general fitness levels was to look at for Saturday, and the reminders really of what we've been doing all season to get a second. It was good.
How strange was it behind closed doors? Because effectively, what we're doing during this process is going to be what it's like in the playoff games.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in pre-season friendlies we're used to very little crowd, if you like. Sometimes maybe 40 or 50s. That's probably the lowest even for a pre-season with the amount of Hawks fans that come. But that was okay. It's something we have to get used to and have to get used to quickly. And obviously, as I said, I thought that first hour was a decent game of football, and within a while it felt like it was a normal game of football.
I suppose as well with 2 weeks ago until the actual playoff game against Slough, I suppose you must have been Slough or Dartford, correction. It must have been nice to have seen them at a level which looked like a league encounter out there.
Yeah, like I said, it looked like a decent National League game in that first hour. That's how we did it. The last half an hour was massive changes from everybody, like a normal pre-season. But for the first hour, it felt like a proper football match. It's interesting because whilst whilst you're trying to gear up, you also want to make sure that you're ready in 2 weeks' time, not the Saturday that's just gone. So listen, we're looking forward. We've got a good week's training this week. We're in tomorrow and Thursday. We've got an inter-squad game on Saturday, and obviously I'm sure we'll all be glued to our TVs watching the Dartford Slough game, which is now being streamed live, and all the National League games, North and South, are being streamed, which I think is great news for certainly for our supporters, but for everybody.
Indeed, let's talk a bit more about that because, as you say, it's great for the fans to be able to watch it. Obviously, they'd prefer to be here and we prefer them to be here, but circumstances don't allow. But at least we're able to, in some capacity, give them the option to watch the game and hopefully watch the Hawks succeed in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly media areas that they can either, if they can't for any reason stream the game, then I'm pretty sure BBC Radio Solent have asked us to come in as well, do live commentary. But we've also got the Wesley pub, which will be open on that day as well. So I'm sure that someone will be able to get to the game or see the game or hear the game if they really want to. And thankfully, I think that option's available to them, because it would have been a massive shame if they were almost having to wait on teletext in the old days to find out what the score was.
It certainly would have been fun. But I suppose for you as well, actually being able to watch the Slough Dartford game on Sunday, obviously you would have preferred to have watched it in person, but you have got that option to watch it there yourself, and you can do your analysis and the bits you need to do in preparation for that game.
Yeah, I think that's one of the advantages that we've got. As I said before, I think it's a big advantage that they're having a competitive game, and we haven't. We're into squad game on the 18th. And having a real competitive game with a winner at the end of it means that they come to us with that winning mentality. The little advantage we get back on that is that they won't have watched us the week before as we would have watched them. So there's all swings and roundabouts, but as I said to everyone, ultimately it depends what you do when you kick off at 3 o'clock on that green grass.
And I suppose for the players, it's an extra week for them to grab the shirts. It's effectively a pre-season with a couple of games chucked in.
Yeah, that's what the point we made on Saturday. We're pretty sure of what the team's going to be, bar maybe just one or two, and people have still got that one or two places left to fight for, and it's up to people to really stake their claim, if you like, over this next couple of weeks.
Indeed, let's move away from playoff matters because there's some exciting news coming out from the club. There's going to be a new building being installed, new hospitality suites. We're going to have new kitchens, new stewards and police rooms. It's really exciting, and we're talking quite a lot about the club going up another level, and this is another example of that.
Yeah, so again, we've all said it's been very busy during lockdown. I think the new board coming together has worked really, really well. Probably the biggest key thing for us was to improve the floodlights to get them to League 2 standard. And that's something which we're going to do. We've got new LED floodlights that are coming, and also we've got a new hospitality suite being built where the current blue porter cabins are, and that will provide us, with police and match day stewarding room. It'll provide us with a hospitality suite for match days, and as importantly, it'll provide a new kitchen and burger hot dogs, chips, and all the rest of it that's going to actually come out onto the pitch. So, again, we've made the application to the Football Stadium Improvement Fund. It's £250,000 development, which we've had to obviously find our 30% for, and we're just obviously in the process of, we've made that application now. It's now in the process of being looked at, and we hope to get some good news in the next 2 or 3 months.
And I suppose with the hospitality suites and things like that, that's fantastic for the match day experience. I know we use the function room for some of the hospitality days, but for people to come in and actually overlook the stadium whilst they have their 2-course meal and things like that's just going to be great for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's you go to some other clubs and you see what unbelievable facilities they've got for match day, and we probably we've got an amazing boardroom here that overlooks the pitch, but to have a hospitality suite for match day, as I said, a lot of what we're doing, we're trying to provide income. We're trying to make some income, especially in these difficult times. So cheaper floodlights, LED, are much cheaper to run than the old lights that we've got, but we also needed better. We felt that the lights were beginning to lose its power, so fantastic new lights coming and a fantastic facility. And also, as you come into the ground now, have a welcome reception area. It'd be much easier, I think, to come and buy your tickets and all sorts of positives in terms of why that building needs to be built. And the other big thing that's happening and has happened is we've restructured the home dressing room. That's been totally refurbished as well, and we're also building a brand new referees room. So again, it's been non-stop here over this last 8 to 10 weeks, and it just puts the club in a good place, really, whatever league we're in.
We'll go back to the changing rooms in just a second, but let's talk about the building, because our ambition is to be a National League club. And where you go in the National League, when you go to places like Wrexham, like Chesterfield, and even places like Sutton and Bromley, have a lovely reception area where you go in, it looks really professional. So for our standpoint, to have that, it makes us that bit more professional in that element.
Yeah, and probably a bit more welcoming, rather than just coming into the Wesley pub, sort of trying to find out where you've got to go. And it's an area where we'll have friendly reception staff ready to direct people, and that's what we found when we go to other grounds. You've got more people ready to meet and greet you and make you feel comfortable in that environment, and that's something that we want to try and make the match day experience more enjoyable for everybody, and that includes mainly our supporters.
As you mentioned, new changing room facilities, a home dressing room is being touched on as we speak, double more or less the capacity of what it was formerly. And I've just had a little sneak preview in there, and it looks really nice, really nice in there, and something that doesn't look out of place in League Two probably.
Yeah, it's it's been massively improved. It's been massively enlarged. So I think the dressing room now would be as big as anyone in this league, if not bigger. And it certainly conforms up to league standard now. So it's a fantastic job that's been done over this last 8 weeks. Paul Tracy, one of our directors, again, has got stuck in. Richie Pope designed it and has done all the plumbing work on it. So everyone's digging in at the minute to try and help the club. People putting in a lot of time and labour time for nothing. And I think that there's been a real buzz around this place the last 8 or 10 weeks, and it could have gone the other way. All flat and everyone disappointed. But I think everyone. Stuart Munro coming on board, Mark Pope coming on board's made a huge difference as well. That energy that you get from them two. So overall, it's been a real good buzz around the place, and I really enjoyed it here Saturday. I thought that watching the game and just getting back to football was really good.
I suppose the unfortunate thing about this whole COVID situation is none of the fans can come here and see it, but one thing we can guarantee is that when they come back for the turnstiles, whenever that is, they're going to see a club with a real dynamism. They're going to have a club with a real new energy, a new bounce about themselves, and they'll probably come back in here and be kind of wowed about how far the club has come on, regardless of how the playoffs finish in such a short space of time.
Yeah, I think that this is geared up for whatever league we're in. As I said to you, I've been very impressed with the National South this year. I think that you saw the results at the weekend, and whilst they're friendlies, the fact that Dorking can go up to Notts County and beat them, and Dartford can go to Boreham Wood and win a game. And we did very well here as well on Saturday. So there's not a huge difference between the National South top 7 or 8 teams and the National League teams in general. So it's going to be tough, the playoffs. We know that, but any other team playing us would also think it's going to be tough. So that side of it I'm looking forward to. And a real good news for all of our people that moaned about me shortening the pitch this year is the new pitch will be wider. We will get back those original sort of whatever it was 6 yards, I think, or 6. I think it's 3 metres each side. So the new pitch is going to be made wider as per the National League year before I got here. And as I said, hopefully that will please everybody.
Indeed. Paul, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Cheers, Henry.